So if you're in the Yang Gang and you saw the title and you're like, okay, I better go to the stream. Here's your story. And this is big because Yang is also in a very similar sense to Bernie and Tulsi in that they're completely left out. He's called John Yang. He's not on graphics that he deserves to be on. He's basically excluded. He's in that big three club of media doesn't like him, establishment doesn't like him. So he doesn't matter. He's still breaking records. Presidential hopeful Andrew Yang is building momentum when it comes to attracting more and more donors. The Democratic presidential candidate announced his campaign raised nearly $750,000 on just November 30th, a record single day haul for his campaign, to bring his weekly fundraising total to $2 million. Really good. Proud of him. A campaign spokesperson confirmed more than 18,000 contributions were made in the 24-hour period at an average of just $41. I would like to see the breakdowns. 41's pretty high, but that's wonderful for him. That's a lot of 50s and 100s and such. His campaign boasted the largest fundraising jump by percentage among any of the top-tier candidates by posting a 257% jump in donations to hit $10 million in donations over that period. Despite meeting the donor requirements, just like Tulsi, Yang is one poll short of the debate stage. But nonetheless, we wanted to bring up Yang, that he is in this entire thing doing really well. In fact, he's going to be coming to Chicago very soon.
Yeah, in fact, he's going to show up here in the city of Chicago tomorrow. Now, you know, I mean, we have reached out to his campaign to see if he would like to be on our show.
Is he having a rally tomorrow in Chicago?
He's having a rally. It's going to be at 5:30, I believe. But, you know, we can open up our studio early to have Andrew Yang here. But, you know, I mean,
they've said that they didn't want to drive up here.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of a distance away. But nonetheless, I'm going to be there to at least film the event, hopefully get a chance to speak to Andrew Yang, and really get his perspective of what's happening with this 2020 election cycle and how, of course, corporate media, most notably MSNBC or MSDNC, as I like to call it, is constantly, you know, leaving his name off the list. I mean, he's dealing with the same situation that Tulsi Gabbard is dealing with, that Senator Bernie Sanders is dealing with, and that there's a clear media blackout against him. I, for one, view Andrew Yang as a wild card. Now, he is my third choice for the Democratic, you know, primary race, but I believe that he definitely has contributed a lot to the dialogue about how this 2020 election cycle is going to turn out. He's bringing up a lot of issues that really need to be addressed, like automation and the future of AI and how this economy is going to be impacted by those two, you know, clear elements that are going to stay with us for a very long time. So,
but I just want to set out there, Kit's actually going to be out there tomorrow, so he won't be on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, so no,
so if you can tweet him now, we're trying to get time with him. He's been blacked out by NBC. We will ask him fair questions if he, you know, gets back to us.
Yeah, and most notably, I'll give him 10 minutes of his time. That's all I'll ask. But nonetheless, Kira, I want to have your perspective on this too.
On this story? Well, I mean, this has been happening since I feel like Andrew Yang has been in the race. I guess I am a little bit surprised at how pointed this effort is to keep him out of the limelight. Again, you know, what that says to me is like, oh, well, he must be doing something right. I love Andrew Yang's viewpoint and vantage point on the human spirit and how humans can actually thrive when they're not under the pressure of economics. And I think that his ideas around helping regular Americans is what is scaring establishment media.
Yeah.
And not only scaring it, but they just don't take him seriously. They just don't see him as an actual contender, which is crazy, especially with that kind of fundraising.
And look, automation and AI are going to be real factors that are going to impact our economy. And the United States is stagnant in regards to dealing with the ever-changing economic and social environments that's happening worldwide. I mean, we are going to have to come to the realization that all the old standard jobs are going to be replaced, and people like to do things. People have to earn money, especially in this country. People have to earn money to get by. But I'm seeing Paul on the board real quick.
Yeah, I had just a thought I wanted to add in on Andrew Yang and, you know, the media specifically either ignoring or, you know, maligning his campaign. It never seems to be on what I would think of as substantive, you know, interesting things to ask his campaign. Like, what, you know, be more descriptive about how your freedom dividend works. Tell us, how it specifically is going to help people and how it won't be inflationary. What safeguards do you have? You're not fundamentally changing our economic system. How is it that you can be so confident in these outcomes? That's not the question. The question that what's being done is ignore him, smear him, try to pretend he doesn't exist, downplay the effectiveness of his campaign. And by not engaging it on the merits of the campaign leads me to believe that more than anything, the thing that I think that they're very upset about is he's demonstrating that you don't need to have established pre-existing political influence. He's not the mayor of any town. He doesn't sit on any community boards. He's not, he doesn't have prior political engagement and experience. He hasn't gone through the approved channels to achieve that kind of power. And so for that reason, we can't encourage people. We can't say it's legitimate if you have political ideas and then you go run for office. You need to have those political ideas beaten out of you through the system and run for smaller offices and make sure that you are fundraising through the approved methods. We don't care what your ideas are, but this is not an acceptable way to become a popular politician in this country. That's the message.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and to your point, Paul, I think that if they actually asked him those hard-hitting questions, they might find that there is a little bit of rickettiness, I know that Andrew Yang's position on the minimum wage isn't exactly what my position is, and a very progressive position is. They could very easily ask questions that might turn people off, but they choose the blackout route instead. Obviously, it's yielded results for them in the past, and that's why they go with it.
Yeah.
But it's like
not
any other
working.
candidate. Just ask the real questions, and you might actually find some holes to poke through.
Yeah, so like even on minimum wage, just very quickly as we wrap up, on minimum wage alone, so if we just say freedom dividend is $12,000 a year, family two, that's $24,000 a year. Someone that makes $15 an hour makes $35,000 a year. It's a big difference.
Yeah, and not to mention, even asking, hey, what's the future plan for automation, and also, I don't know, regulating artificial intelligence, because that's a conversation we're going to have. Now, of course, there's a lot of companies and tech companies that are investing into artificial intelligence, and there's no regulations to really hold that accountable. And no, I'm not trying to go into any kind of science fiction route, but I mean, it is a reality and something that we do have to address about the impact of AI and what role it will play in society. And
including lengthening our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So,
We're going to get older and older, and then what are we going to do? Work until we're 105?
Yeah, and everything that we do right now
not a bad idea.
is connected on social media. Daniel, this is not the Imperium of Man. I'll be damned if I work till I'm 105 or 120, okay? No.
Let alone 20.
Yeah, let alone 20, yes. It's 40K.
I just don't want to be one of those 2-year-old women that they put on like the local news channel
Saying,
and
"I'm
like
still working."
embarrass the shit out of me.
Like,
I'm in bed and I'm strapped up to all these wires, and
Oh.
you're in here putting me on national television because I'm so old.
Yes.
Don't you guys ever see those stories?
Yeah. Like, it's like, wow, you're 102 years old.
They
How'd you
was-
do that?
The
How'd you
last
do it here
woman
in the
that
United
they-
States?
The last woman that they interviewed, and they said, "How'd you get to live so long?" She said, "I had a glass of whiskey every day."
You know what? That woman is an American patriot. God
is.
damn it. Boom. Hardlands Media proves.